Well, I guess, just starting this, a year ago you were competing for the job. Now it seems pretty well established. Just what's the feeling this spring compared to last spring?
Nothing really. I still got to compete. We have competitors, in the quarterback room. Not just Mac Jones. We got Paul Tyson, and then we got my little brother as well, and then we got the walk-ons. So it's not time to take off, not time to relax. It's still time where we got to all compete. So.
You're happy you got through the first practice unscathed?
You said what?
You're happy you got through the first spring practice unscathed this time?
So I didn't have to. Yeah, last year was definitely different. This year I got hurt. So.
What's it like with your brother being here?
It's good, but when he comes here, it's a business. You got to work for what he wants and what he needs to do to become successful here, and it's not going to be given whether his brother's a quarterback here or not, or even if our father was the head coach here, he'd still have to work the same way.
It's different for being like a teammate and being a brother. Your teammate on the field, brother off the field. Is it that kind of dynamic?
It definitely is. Definitely, when practice happens, it's like you're looking at your teammate, as on the defense, you're looking at those guys as guys that got to compete against, and then off the field, they're our friends. They're my brothers and whatnot. So it's exactly the same take.
What did you hear from kind of like the NFL personnel at your junior pro day? And what were they kind of saying? And were you happy with, I guess, how it turned out?
Well, I didn't get the opportunity to speak to anyone from the NFL. We weren't allowed to, and we're really there just to learn, things about whatever the NCAA symposium had, for us, which was, if we were able to talk to free agents and things like that, or agents. Not free agents, but yeah.
What was that experience like in Indy this year? You were one of several guys that got to kind of experience that before you actually have to experience it.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a good experience, great experience, especially for guys like us. We have that opportunity to go out and experience things before we actually do experience it. So how agents work, and agents can come in many forms. The obvious one, you can't take benefits. So just little things like that, things you already know, and then there's other things that fall along those lines.
When you reflect on last year, what are some of the memories? What are the things that stand out when you think about your first year starting?
I can't think too much about the good because, a lot of the bad still stands there. But I think the biggest takeaway for me for last year would be the things that I didn't correct, throughout the little games. Throughout the games where we played teams that, weren't up to our, kind of competition, we kind of made a lot of mistakes and we could get away with it. But, ended up catching up to us, and, I think that's something big that we can, all take from, as a team.
You obviously had a lot of personal success last year, but how much are you kind of focusing on some of those games that didn't go your way, Georgia, Clemson, against elite defenses that were a struggle at times?
Well, I think that's where it comes to play. When it gets you, and it ended up getting us throughout those times, and it just wasn't enough time for us to recuperate and try to fix it because they were habits already instilled. So, this is an opportunity for us, throughout spring ball to get better with that.
What did Clemson do that was effective in defending you?
Well, they have really good defense. They had a really good front seven. They had really good DBs. Their defense coordinator, he called a great game. I think the biggest thing is the way they disguised their coverages, how they went about doing things. They made it look like one thing pre-snap, and then post-snap was totally different thing. So I think they did a really good job throughout that.
We'll talk about the transition from going from Brian Dable to, now Sark, and then having, Enos and the combination of Bloxley last year. How's that been, and how is, Sark different than those three other guys?
Well, I think you can't really compare all the coaches. You look at it more so as, these guys have their own way of coaching. These guys have their own style, and you just got to kind of learn to go with it, because at the next level, it's not always going to be the same person. And so you got to be able to adjust, and you got to be able to go with it as well. So they all have different styles. Coach Loxley was one way, Coach Dable was another way. And, with our offense that we're running now, it's different too. So it's just getting used to what they're doing and what they like, and in going with it.
Is it good to have the QB coach be the same as the OC in
It
this
is.
position?
It is. I'd say that helps because, they're not going elsewhere, to hear information. They're not going to the receivers. They hear this from the receivers. Then they're coming to the quarterbacks. They're hearing this from the quarterbacks. They're just hearing it directly from the quarterbacks. And, the relationship between your quarterback and your OC is definitely something big. So.
How much of a learning curve is, you said the offense was a little different. Just how much of a learning curve is that?
We've implemented a good amount of things, that Sark likes to run, and that he's run in the past. But we still have a good amount of the things that we've had last year, so it's not too much of a big learning curve.
He's known for the West Coast offense. Is a lot of it kind of getting the ball out sooner? Is that one of the things you're working on?
Well, right now we haven't really implemented everything. We're about to start day 2 today. And we'll just kind of have to see what he has planned for us.
You had a relationship with him before. Was it just good to see him back here and back?
Oh yeah, it was really good. He offered me while he was at USC, and USC was my dream school too. So, I'll be forever grateful for that. But, just the person he is, he's a good guy. He's a relationship person, in the quarterback room with not only me, but everyone in there. So it's a real easy learning environment.
How did you decompress from the season after everything, after the Clemson game, after the whole playoff Heisman? How did you decompress, and what was that like for you?
Went back to work. That was it.
All right. Thank you, Joe.